Hi everyone. I've been wanting. Oh, well, I've had the idea for making this video for literally for months now, and but other ideas for videos have come along, and it's kind of been put on the back burner as a maybe even sort of a backup video, and that's why I'm using it now because I kind of run low on ideas about what to make videos about. So hopefully put this video up, and hopefully it still be an interesting video anyway. Then within the next few days, hopefully I would have thought of something to make a video about, something a bit more serious rather than what I'm going to be talking about now and the last video I did about the Star Trek question. So I was watching TV, like I said, this was months back now, and the Truman Show was on. A great movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And one of Jim Carrey's finest, actually I would say Jim Carrey's best performance. I just saw him yesterday in I Love You, Philip Morris, the new film, and he was very good in that as well. But still, to me, the Truman Show is his best ever performance in any kind of role. And when I was watching it, I started thinking about all the multiple layers that I saw in the film, and layers that I'd never seen before. And I think that's because since I've been making YouTube videos, I've been looking at things more critically and analysing things more, and surely that can only be a good thing. And as I need no excuse to talk about films, I mean it's something I'm very passionate about, and I thought I'd talk about it a little bit here, and kind of some of the thoughts I had about this film. There's a religious angle, obviously. The creator of the town that Truman lives in, he's called Christoph, and you could see him as God. I mean his name is even spelled Christ of. I mean you can't get any more direct than that. Maybe it could mean that he is the Christ of Sea Haven, the name of the town that Truman lives in. I don't know, but at the end, just as Truman's about to leave the town, well, spoilers, but I'll put that in the title anyway, so it doesn't matter. When Truman is about to leave, Christoph speaks to him, and then when Truman asks who he is, he answers that he's the creator, pauses for a second, and then carries on. And I think that the filmmakers wanted to try and put that Christoph as God thing right in there. That was just another thing that made me think of maybe there is a bit of a religious angle going on here. I think you could also see maybe that it's got some similarities with Adam and Eve. God, Christoph, wants to keep Truman, Adam, safe and to take care of him, but Truman disobeys him and goes out into the real world, warts and all. Obviously there are some differences. Sylvia, who would be Eve, the one woman that Truman really cared about, ever since she left. But she did leave, and she left a long time before Truman did. But in the Bible, God throws out Adam and Eve together because they both disobeyed him. In the film, Truman wants to leave, and Christoph doesn't want him to leave. But hopefully there are some similarities there, and I'm not the only one who's seeing that. There's also an angle of a layer of going from being a child to being a man. You can see Truman as a child, especially before he leaves. Sea Haven would be his protected bubble that children live in. And at one point, whenever that is different for all people, you're going to have to make a decision to whether to stay in this protected, cocooned existence, or to venture out in the real world where bad things can happen, but you will be free. Christoph could be like Truman's overprotective father, who's not ready to let him go, and just wants him to be safe, and he's a very as I said, very overprotective. But Truman knows this is the right time for him, at least, to try and venture out into the real world, no matter what happens. You could also see there's an element of slavery in it as well. No man ever has the right to rule over someone else, or tell one person what to do with their own lives. Truman should have the free will to be the kind of person he wants. In Sea Haven, he could only be the kind of person that that the show wanted him to be, and he could only have free will inside that town, and he could only be what the show put into the town, if you see what I'm saying. And of course, obviously, there's the freedom angle. There's a big freedom angle in the film. Truman wants to be free. He's cocooned in this tiny town. I mean, when you compare it to the Earth, he wants to take the bad with the good. Because that's what life's all about. The music is really good at the end, where Truman leaves. You get this sort of great, almost mad psychedelic music, and it works perfectly in my opinion. When you see Christoph, sort of slowly take off his glasses, because you can almost see his entire world crumbling. All his life's work. I mean, he's dedicated his whole life to this TV show, and when Truman leaves, it's completely destroyed, and you can see the realization of what that means in his eyes. It's a very powerful scene, and it just shows that freedom is ingrained in all of us, and it's one of our basic rights that we have as human beings. Despite everything that they did to Truman, to try and keep him from leaving Sea Haven, or from wanting to, from making his father drown, to make him afraid of going across water, and having pictures of planes crashing and stuff. His curiosity and his desire to be free overcame all of that. When he was at the edge of Sea Haven, he didn't even know what the world was like outside. He just, he could have been a flaming hellscape, or maybe not, but it could have been, a very very bad world, for all he knew. But that was the thing. He didn't know, and he wanted to know, and he deserved to know, and so he left. We are also a very fickle society, as you can see at the end. Once the show is finished, you get two people watching the show. I mean, this is a show that's dominated the airwaves for 30 years or something, and you see these two people, and they just ask, what else is on? A reality show that they've probably been watching, as I said, it's been on at least for 30 years, ever since Truman was born. I mean, they've been following him, and they've probably invested a great deal of their lives in Truman's life, watching him, as I said, from a baby to an adult, just from the second that he leaves town. And once it's finished, they want to know what else is on. It's almost like our attention span has completely disappeared. We need a constant stream of information, or else we're going to start to have, withdrawal symptoms or something. Anyway, that's what I got from the film. This was only from watching it, just once the way through, and then, the things that came to mind afterwards. So, let me know what you think. Hopefully I haven't bored you too much. Cheerio.